Elbow forward, shoulder out. All right, cool. Okay, let's go to the questions now. Moving right along. Guys, there's a lot of questions. A lot of people are tuning in, which thank you very much. Someone made a very mean comment about you, Monte.
Oh, yeah?
But it was funny. Okay, but I won't respect that with it.
Oh, I want to hear it later.
Later.
It's probably right.
Not on there. Okay, can Monte explain what creates efficiency in the swing and how tour pros create so much speed to hit the ball so far, even though they're not big guys at all, physically?
Right. I mean, to me, efficiency is all about, getting the arms linked up to the rotation of the body. To me, that's the number one issue. You get your arms linked up to your body, then everything can accelerate together.
So when you hear Monte, when you hear like Sean O'Hare, who's even a little lighter than me, hitting a 7-iron 205 yards sometimes in certain conditions, and you see
well,
how does
okay,
this happen?
Back up just for a second. Those yardages are so inflated sometimes,
Okay.
it's ridiculous.
Okay.
Nobody on tour, except for, Bubba Watson or Gary Woodland on the rare occasion on some specialty shot, hits 7-iron 205.
Okay.
Nobody does.
Okay. Now, how are they inflated?
Well,
first of all, the thing that I've noticed, we live in Southern California, I live in Long Beach. When the guys play at Riviera, the yardages seem more human.
right. Well, first of all, this is what you'll see a lot is, here's such and such on the 232-yard par 3 7th hole, and he's got 6-iron.
Yeah, and you're what?
Yeah, and
Phil does that a lot.
And then he hits it on the green, and they pan back, and they're 3 tee boxes forward, and that 6-iron was actually 190.
Okay, right.
There's a lot of that goes on, and quite honestly, and I get it. These are the best players in the world. They're trying to make them look as superhuman as possible.
Yeah.
I got no problem with that.
Right.
But the issue that I have with it is it gives amateur golfers unrealistic ideas on what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. The thing, though, when it comes to efficiency that we've seen on your TrackMan here, and as far as hitting irons very long and some of these crazy distances that you see, is I've noticed with myself is that when I get a more shallow iron that is leaning forward, de-lofted a little bit. So it's de-lofted, but it's attacking shallow and square. You'll start, today I hit a 8-iron 175 yards. It was just
yeah.
So the pros are doing that on the regular.
Yeah. The high steep.
Yeah.
Hit down, compress.
Yeah. You got to sweep and get everything forward, that upper body and stuff forward. This, Fury's not super long.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to another question, guys. Okay. I've asked Brendan before, but what's Monte's take on Mike Austin's swing via his buddy Steve Pratt? I don't know one of those names, but
I know Steve.
Mike. Okay.
I know Steve really well. Steve's a really good guy.
Real refresher for people who might not know. Mike Austin was a PGA Tour player who was the longest of his time, and then he came up with kind of a modality of swinging that was very different from what people were saying at the day, and now it's kind of becoming more in vogue to mainstream instructors.
I like a lot of the parts of it.
Okay.
Like anything else, you're not going to agree with everything that.
Right.
To me, there's a little bit too much secondary tilt with the hips a little too far forward.
Yeah.
But aside from that, there's a lot of good stuff in it.
Yeah. The quote that I really like that Mike Austin says that I don't see a lot. That was completely counterintuitive to the way I learned golf, but now I'm more into it. Is that he said you have to put everything back into what you took out of it, something like that. You know what I mean? So if the wrists go, bring cock up, then this motion should be part of your downswing.
He's
swing.
very big in the and that's the thing I most like about him. Very big in the letting the angles go.
Yeah, just let it out.
Let the angles go.
One guy who's been on Ancillary Way, been on my channel, Tom Duke, talks about he worked with. Did you ever meet Mike Austin's protege, the long drive guy from the '90s, Mike Dunaway?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Mike used to run an event in Arkansas every year that invited all the top long drivers too. Great guy.
For distance and straightness, was he pretty up there?
Pretty good.
With as far as the.
Oh, he was pretty good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He had a $10,000 challenge to.
See, you said 90s. I'm the 90s. Dunaway was like the 70s.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right.
I mean, Dunaway, Big Cat Williams, those were the big deals in the 70s.
Like the
and
original
80s.
long drive guys. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, he had the $10,000 challenge.
Right. So, was that for anyone in the world?
Anyone.
Oh, that's cool. Take all comers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he would talk about you want to beat, like you have a rug hanging here. And what would you do if you were to beat the dust out of that rug as hard as humanly possible? You'd go like this, you'd let everything out. You wouldn't hold it and then at the last second.
Holding angles never made any sense to me.
Yeah, just hit it like you would if you were a child. Okay. All right, can Monte explain what separates one tour player's speed from another? For example, one player has 165 ball speed and one has 180 ball speed.
I mean, it's nothing.
It's kind of a.
It's like, why does, one defensive back on the Packers run a 4.240 and the other guy runs a 4.35? They're all elite, but, it's just something.
With golf, it's a little bit more of a mix of technical and physical, but everything goes into it. Yeah.
I mean, you look at all the guys that Bubba's like the only one that doesn't look,
Yeah.
And he does it with hands.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at the Gary Woodland, Dustin Johnson. These are guys that, you don't want to meet in a dark alley.
No, just brutes, really. All right, somebody's talking about, now what do you do with a player? Somebody's talking about they feel like their hips are set in concrete. Now, I'm the other way, where I have these really active mobile hips. What do you do, because we've never really talked about this on my channel. What do you do if somebody comes to the lesson tee, maybe they're a little older, I've seen this in young guys too, where their hips just don't move. It's a brick of...
Well, generally speaking, most often that happens when it's the same thing. It's a poor sequence.
Okay.
But guys that are set in concrete going back are generally going to be set in concrete coming through. So if they don't rotate going back, they're not going to do much coming through. That quite often that's set up. Everyone says, "Oh, I can't turn my hips. I'm inflexible," and I kind of always give them a strange look. It takes more flexibility to not turn your hips.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah.
I mean, going like that takes a lot of flexibility. I can't do it.
Yeah.
That takes no flexibility at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anybody that can successfully walk from the car to the door, should be able to do that.
Yeah, and a lot of times guys that don't move their hips, they have poor setups, poor backswings, poor transitions.
Yeah, and there's a conception of a lot of people think, oh, it's going to be, if I go like this, it's going to be so inconsistent to get back to the ball. I need to have this locked in here so I can be, boom, I can be like repeating all the time.
I don't want to make fun of anybody, but anybody that believes that needs to.
So it's perfectly fine to release your hips. You talk about the right knee a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right knee can straighten a little bit.
Some people are going to have more turn than others. It's a physical thing, but you don't want to be limiting your hip turn on purpose.
Right. So check your setup if your hips are feeling completely stuck. Hey Monte, how would one? Okay. All right. So this is something we've talked about before, Monte. Somebody, I think the Simple Game username, is talking about the no turning cast drill with driver. How would you incorporate that to the driver? We have talked about this before, but on one of our videos. But give us that again.
I'm not real big on working on things with driver.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I like fix your golf swing with 7-iron, with wedge, and then just pull the driver out and do it bigger and faster.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that with driver, but you shouldn't be out there busting unless you're practicing for a long drive contest, driver should be a small percentage of your practice.
So you're saying like get the move down with the other clubs, and then when you have the driver, don't have a special move that's just for your driver. A special, like if I'm doing no turning cast, which should be this, by the way, not this. If I'm doing no turning cast with everything else, don't say, okay, but this is driver. Let me do no turning cast with another part or something. Yeah. So just try to boil it all together.
Right.
Okay, guys, we have 5 more minutes. So let me go backwards here. Okay. Thanks, Kyle. Okay, this is a good one because we talked about it earlier. But David Villicana is asking, what's Monte's best drill for shallowing the club through impact? I tend to shallow at the start of the downswing, then somehow steepen right before impact. You see this a lot, like guys when they're watching their swing in slow motion say, oh, I look good, I look good, I look good, I look good. Ugh.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it depends on how you got there. Okay. If you're getting nice and shallow in the transition and then standing it up, you're trying way too hard to swing right. The right shoulder's dropping too much. You've got to get.
So we talk about that, like that. You're putting some.
So you're like shallow, and you're like, oh, got to swing the right field so I can hit a draw.
Yeah.
You're gonna stand those hands up. You got to get the shoulders rotating around and get those hands moving left. That's why I feel.
So David, your shoulders are gonna feel a lot more flat.
Right.
On the downside.
See, to me, I teach right shoulder getting out and forward more than most guys do. And every person I teach to, Monte, that's over the top. I don't want to be over the top. And then I show them their flight scope numbers, and I show it to them on video, and they go, I guess that's not over. You know, they drop. They pout. I guess you're right.
It felt like, oh, it's over the top, but
it's only over the top if your head is moving forward.
Yeah, that's got to be such a crucial thing that I always come back to. Everything moving towards the target, specifically your head, is just that's probably the thing people should fix first and foremost before you start doing all this nuanced stuff.
See, my view. This is this is my view.
Yeah.
Is as soon as you start moving your head forward, then the right shoulder's got to drop, so you're not steep and over the top.
Yeah.
So in order to correct this, you got to go this way. And then you start standing the handle up, you start rolling the wrists, hitting blocks and hooks. You watch good players, they go pretty steady on the iron, and they even back out a little bit with driver.
Yep.
You don't see too many good players going like that. Okay. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is Darren Clark. And
oh, does his head go forward?
Yeah, and he hits it about this high off the ground coming from Ireland.
Yep.
And he's a big dude and doesn't hit it anywhere.
Yeah.
Not that hitting it far is everything, but, Matt Gooch.
Did Faldo's head go forward a little bit? Because he was a big guy that didn't hit anywhere. And he
not a lot.
Yeah.
You can always find an exception.
Okay.
Oh, look, this guy's head moved forward a little bit. But generally speaking, there's not a lot of forward head movement in good players.
Okay, guys, we have 4 minutes left in our show, and somebody just asked a question. Do you have any hybrids in your bag?
No, I'm not very good with those.
Oh, okay.
It's just,
Didn't grow up with it.
Well, here's the deal, is I have swing faults just like everybody else does. And the swing faults that I have make hitting hybrids and fairway woods not very easy. I have a tendency to, stand the handle up a little bit too much because I don't rotate properly, because I get the shaft too vertical. Everything that I'm telling you not to do, I make the same mistake because that's what I was taught to do.
Yeah.
And if I start going like this, a hybrid is just low in the heel and a big wipe to the right. Whereas if you give me like a fat back 2-iron, I'll start to work that way and kind of fix it at the bottom and get away with it.
So for hybrids and fairway woods, do you teach people to swing them more like irons or more like a driver or like their own thing?
See, I don't like making those distinctions.
Okay.
When you start telling people, oh, hit up on driver, hit down on irons.
Yeah.
Put the ball in the right position.
So like have your setup correct and then.
get your setup correct, make a good golf swing, and let the ball get in the way.
Okay, guys, we're going to go quickly to, we have 3 more minutes left. We're going to go quickly to the part of the show where we hit a couple of shots. Monte, we're set up here kind of in the back here, so we're going to hit a low trouble safety shot, a couple of those between your fence and this thing. So let's get set up for that. So if you're in the trees, Monte, and you can use some of my clubs and grab some balls. If you're in the trees and stuff, Monte, are you going to, and you have to hit it very low and penetrating. Say you're in the trees and there's wind, blah, and other stuff. Let's go through the process of that.
Okay.
Which kind of also goes to the Monte Shine Bloom Master Drill of left arm parallel too, huh?
Right. I mean.
So speak up kind of loud and come back this way a little bit more.
Okay.
That's right a little more, right to the edge of this shadow almost. There. Okay. But go that way.
Oh, this way.
Yeah. There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna hit a low trouble shot here.
To me, I don't like to swing hard. I don't like to slam down on the ball. I'd like to take a lot of club.
Okay.
So I got 7-iron here. I'm not going to hit this. If I'm hitting a low shot out of the trees, I'm not going to hit this more than 100 or 110 yards. And this is my 180, 185 club. Because unless there's a special circumstance where I want the ball to spin, the harder you hit it, the more spin you're going to get. And if you're hitting way down on it, you're just getting super, super spinny shot. And that makes the ball go up.
Right. So when we want to hit it low, but we don't want to chop down on it.
Right. I just take a bus load of club.
Okay.
And I don't play it back. I have my normal ball position. Okay? And I just go to here and go to there.
Let's see it. Yeah, you're back in business.
I didn't take a divot.
You're back in business. Hey, we have just another minute on this camera, but then we're going to run a little bit more for our live viewers. Hey guys, thanks for watching. So if you see this link here, one of these, if you donate any amount through this link, you'll be able to see this taking it to the course video that Monte and I did. So click on that, and you can check out Monte Shine Bloom at monteshinebloom.com or youtube.com/hititlong, and we'll see you later. But we're going to keep going for the live viewers and maybe do a little bit extra on this camera. Let me try one of those, Monte.
Yep.
What club do you have here?
7.
And I'm going to get this there. All right, good. 7. Okay.
And truth be told, I cut it a hair thin, but who cares?
Yeah, that's gonna be fine all day.
I mean, to me, a little bit thin with not quite as much spin on it, that's exactly what you want.
So to hit this low without hitting down on it.
Don't play the ball back. Okay?
Okay. And then just take a shorter swing both ways?
Absolutely. And don't hit it hard. So you see, that was a perfectly good shot.
Yeah.
But you were a little steeper than me, and notice how much higher yours was than mine.
So steepness is going to actually pop it up.
It could.
Yeah, right.
It all depends on exactly, but steep is going to get, you're going to get spin.
Let me try that again, Monte, but get to my, so to hit it low, be a little bit shallower, right? You think? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. See, you're going straight up in the air you're hitting that thing 170 yards. I hit it 100.
Got you.
That's why I say you don't want to slam down into it. The harder you hit it.
I always see these see these low Tiger Woods stingers or whatever where he's like, it's not what you need on the court.
Yeah, but you know what? This is a world-class player getting his arms way forward.
Of everything, yeah.
He's de-lofting it without being without being steep on the angle of attack.
Shallow and much easier.
Yeah, hit it 100 yards. See? Now you got the right, you pulled it a little bit, but you got the right trajectory on it.
Yeah, I did.
It takes hours and hours and hours of practice and world-class skill to hit 180-yard 7-iron this high off the ground.
Yeah.
It takes no skill at all to take your well, it takes some, but not very much, to take it back this far, hit it 100 yards, and hit it this high off the ground.
Yeah, let me try it really low. So that would be what I would need to get out of trouble. Right.
So now, if you're wanting to hit at 180, you got 3 or 4 iron in your bag to do that.
Where's this hook coming from?
Well, you're a little vertical with the shaft.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, you were a little vertical before.
Yeah, when I think about hitting it low, it's hard for me to
So I mean, as you can see, here, let me have this back. I'll even dump this sucker underneath.
Right.
I'll over shallow it. But because I'm not firing really hard, I just may block it a little bit.
Oh, that's a good one.
See? So, you know, that ball only went about 90 or 100 yards. And I mean, I took that thing and went like that to it. So that's what you got to do. You got to get away from that must hit down, you know, trapping motion, and just, you know, take a lot off of it.
Yep. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And that's the end of both the live show and everything else. So see you later.